Hey folks, we're out here at Lake Elsinore for all you off-roaders and wannabe off-roaders. We're with Fox Shocks, and what a wonderful day. We got Corey Eastman with us. First off, thank you very much for inviting us out.
Thanks for coming out, Dave.
But let's talk shocks. I mean, you were nice enough to put us in a stock Jeep, a mild Jeep, and a full-blown Jeep. And this is the stock shock. A stock Jeep had none of the above. So let's kind of start from the beginning for a consumer's point of view, and we'll work our way to the top. What are we looking at right here?
You betcha. So in this far set here, we have Fox's Performance 2.0. It's an IFP shock. IFP means internal floating piston. Heat is the enemy of almost any form of performance. It gets hot, you lose performance. Shocks are no different. We use an aluminum body because aluminum dissipates heat a lot better than steel, and we use this floating piston to separate the gas charge from the oil. Most shocks, or many gas shocks, they're together, and when they start working and start getting hot, they turn to a mushy foam, which doesn't do anything to control what's happening with the vehicle. From there, we move to our Performance Elite. That's what you felt in the second Fox vehicle. This is a bigger body. It's a 2.5-inch shock. It handles heat that much better. It also is fully adjustable with the ability to adjust for terrain, for speed, for weight, all of that sort of stuff. So you can keep your suspension performance consistent no matter what kind of off-roading you're doing.
Gotcha.
And then lastly is our factory. This is literally as close as you're going to get to a full trophy truck competition type shock. It has internal bypass, which is a Fox patent. It's really a pretty amazing product. All of these shocks are designed, tuned, and built specifically for application. So it's not that we have this shock that just fits a lot of different things. It's that we tune this specifically for each vehicle. That's what you were feeling today.
And for the DIY guy or girl, they're bolt-on. You don't have to have a machinist degree, or you don't have to necessarily take it to a shop, because Fox, if I'm not mistaken, they have videos that if you can go to the website, and it'll actually walk you through doing the installation.
Absolutely. Installation is very straightforward. It literally is just replacing a set of shocks. So in a lot of cases, you'll also see lifts and that sort of thing happen. Again, very doable by the home mechanic, or something that there are lots of great shops that can walk you through the process and get you set up.
But then you got the Fox Academy.
Absolutely.
Let's
So
talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So Fox Academy, when you add something like the adjustability that we have here with our clickers, that sort of thing, you also need to educate. So, how do you adjust something for, say, an expansion mark in a freeway versus, bumps off-road or hoops off-road or vehicle leaning from side to side? Those are different things, and you need to adjust differently for it. We've created the Fox Academy to walk folks through all of those needs.
And how much does it cost to go to the Academy?
The Academy is absolutely free.
Wow, I knew there would be
But wait,
something.
there's more.
Oh.
So yeah, it's available. It's available on Fox Academy /ridefox.com, and literally we have topics that cover not only our automotive shocks, our UTV shocks, our snow shocks, our motorcycle shocks, all the different categories that we cover in power sports.
What's this monster thing next
This
to it?
monster here, this is the super cool. This is a full race 4x4 external quad bypass. It allows amazing adjustability. If you're going down to Baja and racing the premier class, this is the type of shock that you're using.
Yeah, this is the one you could jump from street to street with no problem.
Absolutely, absolutely. Down here you see our live valve. Live valve is a technology that is actually semi-active. It adjusts on its own for the different terrain. This is something that is currently available on products like the Ford Raptor. Fox does a lot of OE stuff as well. We also have this available on a lot of our UTV offerings.
Right, exactly. And then down the road here we have...
So we get down here, we get into more of our power sports side of things. So Fox comes standard on a lot of UTVs. Pretty much any top of the line performance UTV is gonna have Fox suspension on it.
Exactly.
What you get from the factory is a very adjustable shock. In a lot of cases, if you're adding weights or different tunes, you might need to change springs or do a little bit of tuning, but it's all there. If you're really ready to step up, you can do a full internal bypass and actually work with Fox or one of our tuning companies to really set things up for the way that you're using it. And then we go into even things like, of course, our mountain bike lines, everything from seat post to rear shocks and forks.
Wait, bicycles?
Bicycles, we do a ton of bicycle stuff as well.
No kidding.
So you'll find most premier mountain bikes come standard with Fox, as well as a lot of aftermarket opportunities to really tune your bicycle the way you want it. And then we also do motorcycle stuff. So
Gotcha.
fork kits for Harley Davidsons, remote reservoir and piggyback shocks for everything from baggers to Sportsters, all that good stuff.
And every one of these lines is an adjustment.
Yes, yeah,
so
absolutely.
you've got hundreds of it all the way down to whatever you're looking for.
Exactly, and in this case, you actually have what we call a crossover, which is this composite piece here. That allows you to take advantage of these springs. Both have a different rate, and with a crossover, it allows you to literally cross over as the vehicle's dealing with different loads, and it sets that ride height.
That is amazing.
So a shock like this, you're actually controlling your ride height with the spring that's part of the shock.
Sure.
With what we were talking about earlier on Jeeps, there's a separate spring, and so the shock is controlling that load, but the spring is actually carrying your height.
Yeah. And why should any of this surprise us? This is what you do for a living. You eat, sleep, and drink shocks.
Absolutely, that's what we do. It's a good time.
And I think the shock world really is what will get you the performance. Not a turbocharger, not a big block motor. You can have the biggest motor in the world, but if it doesn't touch the ground properly, you just wasted a lot of money.
If you can't control it, it's really kind of pointless. And really, in today's day and age, it used to be that you really needed to soup things up and you needed to start with the engine. Everything has such great performance now and such a wide power torque curve. So really it all comes down to how are you controlling that, and that's where suspension comes in.
And this is not an easy world to get into. I mean, because there's so many variables, from weight to, like you said, using aluminum versus steel. Yeah, it saves weight, but it also keeps the heat down. And all of the viscosities and the different, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Well, and we have an absolutely incredible engineering team.
Yes, you do.
We've got a very large engineering team that is spread out all over the country, all over the world, actually, when you talk about bicycle stuff. And they get together, they share. What guys are learning on trophy trucks might very well cross over to UTV, even some bicycle stuff. Like our live valve technology, that's something that we have a bicycle line with live valve just like we do on the Raptors. So a lot of that technology, our engineers can cross over from different disciplines and learn from each other.
You've actually done cutaways, and it shows you the different internal systems. So what do we got here?
So this is our performance. This is sort of our first step in suspension. We're talking about an IFP, an internal floating piston. That's what this is here. That piston has a gas charge up here, oil here, and then the oil is passing through this piston, which is what's actually controlling the speed of the shock as it's going through its stroke. This is very important because this keeps your nitrogen and your oil separated and prevents things from foaming.
Gotcha.
As you move down the line, now you have a remote reservoir. So now we put the gas over in this chamber. The oil still is able to move. It's got a much bigger body. It's able to cool even more because of the larger body, and it's able to control more oil flow because of the larger piston here. This also then adds compression adjustability. So now you've got compression adjustability for high speed on this lower one and then low speed on this top one. That just allows a lot more adjustment. Now you can adjust for, I've added a load to my vehicle.
Right.
We're going to something super gnarly. I want something really plush. I can adjust that. Then we move all the way to our factory. All of these features still here, an even bigger body, and what this is actually what we call internal bypass. That actually, these open as they go under pressure and allow more oil to get around the piston and really give you this sort of feeling of endless suspension, of sort of floating through things. That's what internal bypass does for you, and that's what that physically looks like on a shock.
All right, so let's take a look at this display down here, since we might as well walk to the end. Huh?
You betcha.
You went to all the trouble to drag it out here.
We started here.
What do we got here?
So this is a pretty straightforward, basic application that you would look for with an off-road vehicle. Let's say you buy an off-road vehicle, you want to put a little bit of a lift on it. That's probably going to be something that comes from the spring, maybe different control arms, that sort of thing. You're going to put a performance IFP. That's what you felt in the Silver Jeep.
Right.
It's a great product.
It's
It's specifically tuned for the vehicle that you're in, and it really just allows sort of that first step getting into off-road. Along with the shocks, we also have a matching steering stabilizer, which just really helps cut back on the feedback that you get in the wheel.
Because that keeps that wheel from washing back and forth.
When you were in that driving experience, if you looked at how much Dane was working driving the stock vehicle versus how little Casey was working in the end vehicle, it's remarkable.
All right, now what do we have here? A little bit more advanced.
So this is a bit more advanced. This is, somebody who's looking for maybe that all-purpose adventure vehicle. It uses our performance IFP. Again, this is where you get into the adjustability to be able to really move things around with the high and low speed compression adjustment. This is just a really good sort of do-it-all setup. This is actually what's on my wife's personal vehicle.
Really?
It's just something that I love it because it's comfortable for day to day, it's comfortable for doing family things, and it's still a very, very capable vehicle when we go off-road. We pair this with our through shaft steering stabilizer, which really just has the most neutral feel of a stabilizer in the market.
And happy wife, happy life.
Amen,
right?
amen.
All right, and last but not least,
so now we go all the way over to our full factory setups. This is really something that's inspired from our motorsport division. Fox was born in racing. Racing is still very, very important to us.
Yep.
This is the type of stuff that is the direct trickle down from those racing efforts. So with this, you see an even bigger body. This has our patented internal bypass. You notice here it's got a recirculating oil system.
Gotcha.
So hot oil goes in, cold oil comes back out because you've got this cactus cooler that's making sure that the heat's being dissipated as efficiently as possible.
wow. And you can learn all about this on the Academy.
Absolutely, you can learn about this on Fox Academy. You can actually go to ridefox.com and find fitments for your vehicle. We have a real easy to use fitment finder.
All right, and you also have a way if you need to take a phone call, you can call Fox, talk to the technical guys.
Yep,
And
it's
the
all-
beauty is the technical guys are technical guys.
Absolutely.
They know the product inside and out.
Fox is a great place because one of the things that makes Fox great is just all of the enthusiasts that we have working there. You know, this isn't just what we do during the week. Oftentimes we're sneaking out together on the weekends, getting our families together, going off-roading, having a good time.
Corey, I can't thank you enough for one, having us out. Goodness gracious, we're outdoors, it's beautiful out. And this is the most fun I've had in a long time. So folks, if you're looking for a quality shock to do the job and do it right, sounds like a commercial, but hey, when it's right, ridefox.com. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, folks, don't forget to tune in to Cruisin. Stay online with us, get subscriptions. That way you'll be alerted every time we come up with something, because you have no idea what we're gonna do next. And you know what? Neither do we. Why? Because we're cruising.